Hello guys, good morning. 6:30 a.m. in the Europe, 7:30 a.m. my local time. Just woke up and I saw amazing news. Once again, I told you guys class changes were coming at the end of the month, aka next week. And with those class changes, we're very likely to see 11.1.2 patch coming in the following days, or being at least announced. Today we're going to talk about a lot of interesting stuff. Most importantly, they're trying to tune around the rate. So a lot of class changes here that makes no sense are active. I told you guys. There will be nerfing classes that perform well in raid and are somewhat bad in raiding, especially a single target, and they're going to try to compensate this. So anyway, without further ado, let's begin and talk about the changes. Alright, the most important thing is that neither of this is going to be live yet, okay? All of those class changes are likely going to come on the 25th of March reset, aka next week on Tuesday, or I guess Wednesday if you're from Europe, okay? So let me just make the screen better for you. Alright, so first thing first, we're talking about Frost Decay. Frost Decay getting a 4% buff. Frost Decay was already behind Unholy. Now with that buff, they might come closer. Frost doesn't do bad at all. A lot of people saying they're dog shit. They're actually not at all. They're pumping big time. Obviously, the damage-wise was not really there compared to Unholy. So this buff might bring them closer. Now, I'm kind of interested that they haven't nerfed Unholy yet, especially the Mathia Wii, which actually is a good thing, because Unholy right now is looking absolutely amazing. Vengeance DH, and they're nerfing the durability of Vengeance DH, pretty much having less uptime whenever they have a Demon Spikes, 5% less parry, that'll make them less tanky. Overall, I still believe Vengeance was going to be one of the best tanks, if not the best tank. Currently, it is the best tank. Druid balance. Now, even though balance is doing absolutely insane in Mythic Plus, rate-wise, their single target most definitely is not good. So, with that in mind, Rat got buffed by 30%, Star Search got buffed another 5%, they got buffed by 5% before the raid, now after the raid, and the Loose Chosen Lunar Calling increases Starfire damage to his primary target by 160%, was 100. So, more prior damage, more single target, Balance is back in the game. I think Balance was already S tier on my tier list before this change. Now with a better single target, even better prior target damage, Balance is definitely S tier right now. I will adjust the tier list in the following hours and I'll post a video about it. But Balance is doing absolutely amazing right now. Even before the changes, after these changes, likely the strongest, one of the strongest range pickups. Guardian Druid, Druid to the claw buffs all around. Dreadful damage increased by 20, Empowering Shape Shifting increased swipe damage by 12, was 6%, and Mango by 25 was 15, and Druid to the Claw Wild Power Surge bonus to rip damage reduced to 200 was 225. Pretty much they're trying to adjust Druid to the Claw to be as competitive as the Loon's Chosen. Is that going to make Guardian Druid to be part of the S tier? Definitely not, but they're trying to balance both hero talents. I was about to say both governance. So yeah. Evoker, Dev Evoker, let's see what they've done. Fixed an issue that final tick of Disintegrate would not benefit from Titanic, Rat, or Iridescendance. Okay. Good bug fix. What is that here? Devastation Evoker, Nerubian 4-piece. Nobody cares about Nerubian Palace 4-piece. Nobody plays it. I'll skip this section. They nerfed it. Death Evoker Underbind 2-piece now cast Shattering Star at 100% effectiveness. Good. That's better single target now. Death Evoker second piece now triggers 25% more frequent. Ooh, buff to the tier set on Death Evoker. And the 4-piece now increases the damage so next empowering spell by 25. Okay, so several things about Death Evoker. Even though a lot of people think Death Evoker is bad, I'm actually in the opposite opinion. I believe Death Evoker was already good before the buffs. I don't think they were definitive meta or anything like that in terms of performance in Mythic Plus. Now, they were a lot better in raiding than they were in Mythic Plus. But those changes will make them be better in both environments. Raid, make them even stronger in Raid, and also make them good in Mythic Plus. They were already good, now they're going to be better in Mythic Plus. Especially better single target. Overall, this spec appears to be, in my opinion, one of the better ranges this tier, and it's likely going to climb a few spots on the tier list. I'll speak about that in the following few hours. I just woke up. Augmentation Evoker. Not what you want to hear today, but I have to say it to you guys. Augmentation has been buffed. So pretty much they're saying here, they realize they over-nerf Aug Evoker, they would like to compensate this. I already spoke about that being the case. Their personal damage contribution is lower than we would like. We are buffing their personal damage to bring the overall output to without further increasing their support capabilities, aka damage of all spells that they do increase by 15%. Is that gonna make Aug Evoker come back to the meta? Very unlikely. I don't think that's enough, but that's definitely a step in the right direction. I would see a lot more Aug Evokers appearing to play right now after this damage buff here, because now they're gonna be a lot closer to the other specs. So yeah, if they get another buff down the line, maybe with 11.15 patch, perhaps they can get back to the A+ or S tier. For now speaking, that is not enough, but step in the right direction. Prot Warrior, Nerubian Palace 4-piece, nobody cares. I'm skipping Nerubian Palace. They're nerfing pretty much all the old overperforming tier sets, aka if your set was really good season 1 and you're still winning it, they're gonna nerf it. Healing of all spells and abilities increased by 5%. Good. Spirit Blossom increased by 20. Energized Flame refunds 80% mana instead of 50. Better mana management here. Better healing. Okay. Disintegrate damage increased by 25. Better damage here. Living Flame damage increased by 25. Okay, so overall, Prot Warrior got both damage buffs and healing buffs. And better mana adjustments. That's definitely a one spot higher on the tier list for sure. So yeah, overall good stuff for Prot Warrior. You guys are gonna be eating well. Thumbs up. PM Hunter, they like the way that Hunter plays out, okay, but instead they are buffing Dark Ranger damage. Again, most of the people are playing Pack Leader in Mythic Plus, if not like 99% of the people. They're now buffing Dark Ranger. Question is Dark Ranger going to become as competitive to Pack Leader? Only for the simming and testing will figure that one out. But I still believe Pack Leader would likely going to be better for Mythic Plus. They fixed the bug with the Pack Leader, preventing lead from the front from increasing the pack of the leader board damage. Okay, so that's even going to give you a little bit more damage if you play Pack Leader due to the bugs. So yeah, I mean, the buff that a Dark Ranger could make Beast Mastery actually play Dark Ranger in M+, but who knows. Survival Hunter. All damage dealt increased by 4%. Good stuff. Survival needed some adjustments here. Pack Leader got significantly buffed on behalf of Survival. Bear damage and board damage by 40% increased. Kill command cooldown reduction increased to 2 seconds was 1 second when Dark Summon appears. How the pack duration reduced to 25 was 35 seconds less, whatever. Fixed the bug preventing lead from the front. Okay, that's the same bug that was present in BM Hunter. Overall, Pack Leader buffs now might make Survival switch to Pack Leader because they were actually pretty significant. Board and Bear by 40% buff. That's actually pretty huge. We'll see if they're gonna swap to Pack Leader, but overall looking very promising. If the rotation changes and we're playing Pack Leader, I wouldn't mind playing my BM Hunter as Survival. But I think BM still probably gonna be stronger. And last but not least, MM Hunter, Dark Ranger performance is lower than we expected. Thank God they noticed that. We're making some substantial tuning changes to bring them closer to where we would like. We would like Phantom Pain to be a compelling source of damage when we're playing around M+ and AoE scenarios, especially when combined with a True Shot and Withering Fire. Okay? Explosive Shot buff by 25, that's for all hero talents on MM Hunter, disregarding if you play Dark Ranger or Sentinel. Pretty much better AoE damage here, especially the uncapped AoE. Explosive Shot is uncapped, very good. Volley is also uncapped, now it's getting buffed by 25. Now it's gonna make more sense to play Volley all the time. Dark Ranger buff by 50%. Black Arrow, wow, that's actually a huge buff to Dark Ranger Black Arrow. The periodic damage increased to 14 was 10. Phantom Pain damage share increased by 24 was 8%. Wow, that's a huge buff. Bleak Powder increased by 100%. Wow. Okay, so I think this Bleak Powder by 100%, I guarantee you that's gonna make people swap out the Dark Thunder and just give it a try. Because I am never playing Sentinel. After I saw this, I am never playing Sentinel again in M+. This looks very, very good. Again, I haven't tested anything so far, but my gut feeling tells me that Dark Ranger will now be as competitive to Sentinel as, as I would like to be. Especially because the rotation here is a little bit different from Dark Ranger compared to Sentinel, a lot more unique, I would say. So, yeah. And Dark Ranger Withering Fire now prioritizes enemies that do not have the Black Arrow periodic effect. Okay. Overall, very good stuff for MM Hunter. Even though they didn't get their change, their native damage buff. They got their Dark Ranger buff, which could now make them swap to it and play them instead. But overall, I'm very excited to play that hero talent. I think Santan was boring as fuck, so that's a huge W for me. Arcane Mage got buffed by 8% flat. Again, would that change the way that it plays out? No, he's still gonna play the same mode, but 8% better. Likely gonna climb the tier list further. Overall good stuff. They're trying to buff underperforming specs. This might make them be the case to be played in the raid most of the time, but we'll see. Frost also caught another buff, 4% buff here on all damage, which is pretty good for Frost Mage. I would like that to see. And Fire Mage got nerfed by 3%. I told you guys this change was coming to Fire Mage. They were doing well. They were doing pretty well in raiding. Not specifically their pure single target, but the way they were just playing. Execute damage, damage on demand, for example, cleaving while focusing one target, especially when playing Night build, for example. So now they're getting a 30% nerf, which definitely means they're gonna be down from the S tier, guarantee you that. And now people are gonna start slowly swapping around Frost. That's what I think. But again, I'm gonna be testing in the following hours and I'll report back. But my gut feeling is telling me that Fire is off the S tier, Frost goes to the S tier. I'll get back and research more. Windwalker Monk got nerfed because they were doing too much single target, as I told you guys. All damage decreased by 4%. Okay. Slicing wins damage increased by 20. Whatever. I guess that's the biggest issue. They're still gonna be fine. The 4% nerf is not nearly enough to push them off being exceptional in raid. But Mythic Plus performance, they're still going to be capped most of the time. They will still not be preferred across all the specs. So, bit of a disappointer here, honestly, for Windwalker. I expected some adjustments on their target count cap, at least to 8 targets, not to 5. But at the end of the day, that's Blizzard. Mistweaver. It felt like Mistweaver overall damage while leaving their healing relatively unchanged was a problem, okay? I mean, we already know that they did a lot of AoE damage. Spinning Crane Kick has felt a touch weaker than we would like compared to the rest of Mistweaver kit, so with increasing damage of Spinning Crane Kick alongside these changes. All damage decreased by 25. Wow, that's actually huge. Jadefire Teaching now increase Ancient Technique transfer amount by 225 from 116. Spinning Crane Kick damage increased by 15%. Awakening Jadefire now transfers 120 of damage done was 110. Overall, that's gonna definitely make them do less damage than before, but they will try to compensate this with pretty much getting more. So because they nerfed the healing, some of your healing was attached to the DPS, so the more you damage, the more you heal. So that's why they buffed the baseline transfer ability from those spells by a decent amount, so it doesn't reduce your healing, and they further increase Spinning Crane Kick to make it more competitive compared to others. Overall, healing is going to be unchanged, but as I told you guys, DPS will go down, which likely means Mistweaver remains A tier. You know, before they were like A+, there was like a possibility of them being S, but right now after these changes, A tier, solid. Not moving at all. Brewmaster, 3% more damage. Again, Brewmaster does not need more damage, they need more durability. Undermine set makes your Blackout Kick be 250% more effective instead of 150. Again, still gives you more damage. Flat 3% buff. Undermine set also got buffed. That all gives you more damage. Does not give you more durability. I would love to see Brewmaster actually becoming more tanky. That is the only issue I'm having with Brewmaster. I feel like there's a massive disconnect right now within the Brew community and the WoW developers. I don't like that. I wish they got that better. Holy Paladin. I told you guys Holy Paladin buffs are coming. Here they are. All healing done by 3%. No way. Is that it? All healing done by 3%. Word of Glory and Eternal Flame healing increased by 20. Okay. Light of Dawn increased by 20%. Okay. Holy Prism AoE healing increase and damage increased by 30. Okay. Holy Prism single target healing and damage increased by 50%. Okay. Shield of Righteousness damage increased by 30%. Okay, so overall, those are very good changes for Holy Paladin. That's the only thing they needed, more output, both healing and damage. So they got it here, which is I'm pretty happy about. Holy Paladin likely gonna now be, well, I had it on a B+ tier early before the season. I think it's likely gonna become B+ tier again. Not gonna go to the A tier, but those are very good changes coming in. Likely gonna make them be more, do more healing, do more damage. Thumbs up for Holy Paladin. Let's move forward. The Retribution Paladin got also final verdict damage increased by 20, which is, again, is mostly single target buffs. They needed that. They're not a big buffs, but you know, step in the right direction. Likely gonna result in a minor SD buffs. Last but not least, we're talking about Holy Priest here. Priest tuning to increase healing from weaker spells and talents. We're also tuning Oracle to improve viability. Alright, Parade of Healing increased by 25%. One of the issues people having with Holy Priest is their AoE healing in Mythic Plus. So now they're buffing a new healing by 60, Prayer of Mending by 20, Prayer of Healing by 25, Light Veil by 30, Divine Image by 20, Divine Image damage also by 20 increase, Holy Fire increased by 20 damage. Wow, they're buffing big time Holy actually. Renewing Fate healing done to allies with renew by 10% instead of 6%. So overall, very good stuff coming for Holy Priest. After these adjustments, I wouldn't be surprised if now people are going to swap out to Holy Priest a lot more often compared to this Priest. Especially given the fact that Holy Priest just needed a bit more output to be more competitive. Following this, I'm very, very happy to see Holy Priest up there. Big thumbs up here for Holy Priest. Shadow O damage decreased by 3%. Now Shadow was doing really good in raiding, and I believe that's why they nerfed the 3% of the damage. And plus, in low level keys, they were doing meh, not really amazing. High level keys, they were doing fantastic, but as everything has to come to an end, Shadow Priest got nerfed by 3%. I mean, we kind of foresaw that, to be honest with you. So yeah. Discipline Priest got nerfed. Lenience now causes Atonement to reduce damage taken by 2% instead of 3%. So 1% less damage reduction to your team. It's gonna be noticeable in high level keys, low level keys, mid level keys, don't really matter. Atonement now causes spell damage to heal all targets affected by Atonement by 32% instead of 35%. That is a 10% less healing coming from Atonement. This is definitely gonna be shaky, especially on high level keys where we had it on S tier. The nerf to Discipline Priest will now lead to Restoration Druid being on par with this Priest. Okay? Because of that nerf, this Priest now will be in danger whether or not they're gonna remain to the S tier. Their toolkit is amazing. The question is, can they heal the important checks for high M+? So, because they're not Discipline Priest, now things are going to be looking rather shaky for them. Unknown if they will remain to the S tier or if people are going to swap to Restoration Druid. But give in mind that Boomie was buffed so hard, would we see double Druid meta? Because that would be pretty bad. You know, because if Boomie is already present in your meta, then there's a lot more incentive for you playing Discipline Priest instead of with the Restoration Druid. But we'll see, guys. I mean, overall, it was to be expected of this to be nerfed. So people don't like, Blizzard doesn't want them to be S tier once again in rating. In Mythic Plus for another season. So yeah, less healing. Assassination Rogue. Okay, so they needed just single target adjustments on Assa Rogue, especially for Mythic Plus. That was the biggest issue that I had with them. So here they are. Nerubian Palace, nobody cares. Nobody plays the old tier set unless you play it. I don't know. But I'm gonna skip this. They're nerfing pretty much. All ability damage increased by 3%. Okay, kind of a weird buff. They were already doing exceptional AoE damage. Now they're getting buffed by 3%. Both single target and AoE, kind of a question mark. But I mean, I guess they will take it. Mutilate by 40%, ambush by 40%. Again, that's the single target damage adjustments. Sure, they're now going to do more single target. But then again, this is kind of weird. Why keep buffing their AoE? Their AoE was already good. So overall, Assa Rogue was going to climb further the rankings, making them one of the best melee options this year. So pretty happy about Assa Rogue, to be honest with you. They're going to continue to be great following the great performance from Season 1. Thumbs up for Assa Rogues. Nothing for Outlaw, nothing for Sub Rogue, only Assa Rogue adjustments. And now, for the cherry on a cake. Before I show you these next changes, I'm going to show you a tweet of mine. 17th of March, 5 days ago. I wake up on the morning of the 25th of March. open the wild news and I see ELE Shaman's ST buffs. I come back to this tweet from 8 days ago and ask, how the fuck did the old man knew about it? How did the old man knew about it, chat? How do you guys know? How do you guys think I knew about it? Well, moving forward, chat, ELE Shaman got their single target buffed. As I told you, I woke up in the morning, I saw it, I was so happy. All of these are coming on the 25th of March. Lava burst by 8%. That's gonna make you actually do even more AoE, because whenever you proc Deity and Ascendance, your Lava Burst does damage to like 6 targets, so that's gonna be even more AoE damage coming from ELE Shaman. But overall, this is mostly single target. Lightning Bolt by 8%, Ice Fury by 8%. Again, the Ice Fury change doesn't really matter, that's insignificant single target buff, it's whatever. But the Lightning Bolt, the Lava Burst by 8% is something that's gonna make your single target much better. Much better. Looking for at least 3 to 4% buff on single target. At least. Could be even more. Depends on the build you're playing. Frost Shock by 8% and Light Sphere by 8% don't really matter. Now you have higher incentive of waving Frost Shocks when you have to move, so that's pretty good. P-Wave got buffed by 50%, by 500% damage-wise. That's still not gonna make people play P-Wave in Mythic Plus because it sucks big time. It gives you now more Maelstrom. Again, this is gonna be even buff. This is gonna be even bigger buff for raiding, because in raiding you play P-Wave. So having it 500% buffed, again, that's good stuff, do more damage, but the way that P-Wave plays in Mythic Plus is absolutely atrocious. Nobody will play that shit. So yeah, overall pretty good. Happy about ELE Shaman. I'm always told you guys I'm ELE Shaman main. I had ELE Shaman part of the S tier before the buffs. So now they're gonna further cement their performance on S. Restoration Shaman, healing increased by 20. The 2-piece healing increased by 30%. The insurance healing, more healing on the Resto Shaman, sure, why not, they'll take it. Warlock Demonology, all damage increased by 3%. Now, Demon Lock were already doing good, in my opinion. Now, the 3% buff to Demon Lock will now likely make them the best lock spec coming from Season 2. I wouldn't be surprised if they, remain the competitive choice for range DPS. Likely gonna be like top 5, in my opinion, for like range DPS. So yeah, pretty good. Demon Lock is likely gonna remain in the A+ tier. I don't think those buffs are insane amount to make them S tier, but overall looking pretty solid, chat. Last but not least, we're talking about Protection Warrior. Damage wise was pretty busted on Protection Warrior, so they decreasing some of their performance. Shield Slam damage reduced by 5%. Colossus adjustments, they're nerfing Colossus pretty much here. Instead of trying, they didn't really have to do it. They could just like baseline nerf Protection Warrior, but they decided to target Colossus, which now might make people swap back to Mountain Tane. We'll see. Mountain Tane, to compensate this, they got buffed a little bit. Strength of the Mountain bonus Shield Slam damage increased from 10 to 15. Again, compensation buffs from Mountain Tane and nerfs to Colossus. Overall, is gonna result in damage loss from Protection Warrior, which was the biggest. That was the biggest like a card, like a bingo card, whatever you want to call that card, Joker or whatever, to keep them in the competitive shape, the damage. So after that being nerfed, likely gonna see more Protection Warriors swapping out of the spec in favor of something else. Anyway, guys, that was pretty much everything for today. Now keep in mind, all of these changes are not live yet. They will become live following the, I believe, 3 days from now, because today's Sunday, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I guess 4 days from now, these are going to be active. Next reset, I believe those are the changes that are needed for patch 11.12 to be announced, which again, this patch will likely come at the end of March / beginning of April, likely going to come in like 2nd of April. The patch itself, or actually 1st of April, I guess, because if you're from North America, it's coming 1 day earlier. Overall, I am happy with all of the changes. I believe they could have done a little bit better in some regards, especially like Fury Warrior, for example, and Windwalker Monk having higher target caps. But overall, not too shabby. I'm looking forward to be testing all the stuff. And yeah, if anything else changes, I'll let you guys know. Tier list update is coming earlier on Sunday / late Saturday night. So AKA in a few hours from now, that video should also be up. Peace out. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys on stream. Bye for now.